Hey everybody, this is the Instagram Ads with the Twang podcast. Got you again. I'm your host, Ben Blackman, and this is the second episode of my 4-part series about how to do Instagram ads the right way. Now, this specific episode, I want to talk to you about how to actually think about your Instagram ads, because your thoughts around them are going to determine your success or failure. Here comes episode 94. Facebook Ads with a Twang is dedicated to taking the often overcomplicated process of creating simple, successful Facebook ads, breaking them down step by step in less than 10 minutes at a time. Let's get started. Welcome everybody to episode 94, and we're on our Instagram ads journey, and I am going to be doing a lot more on Instagram ads on the Facebook Ads with a Twang podcast. You might wonder why I'm not going to have 2 separate podcasts, and I'm just not. Because I'm just not going to do that. Okay. So, let me just kind of get right into what this episode's about, and this is about how to actually think about your Instagram ads, and I mean, this is really going to control whether or not your Instagram ads are a success or a failure, and so I want to answer some questions here. So, you might be wondering if Instagram ads are right for you, and I did talk about this in the last episode a little bit, but the answer is yes if you've done your audience research, right? If you created an ideal client or buyer persona, and you know that you can reach them on Instagram, plus you must have a compelling offer. You can't just change platforms. Like if you were trying it on Facebook and then you went to Instagram, like it wasn't working on Facebook, well, it's probably not going to work on Instagram either. You know what I mean? If your offer stinks. I mean, just know that, right? Your offer has to be super compelling, and if it's not, then it won't work. And you also must have define your budget. Now, I know that we don't talk about budget probably nearly enough, and I think I'm going to kind of rectify that this year, but you've got to know the maximum you're willing to pay per result, whether that result is a strategy session, whether it's a sale, an opt-in, whatever it is you're trying to accomplish. You absolutely got to know what your budget can be and what you're willing to pay to get that information, because that's what you're doing, right? When you're running ads, you're trying to get information. Yeah, you're trying to get sales, you're trying to get other things, but you're collecting information when they first start. Okay, it's rare that is the occasion that somebody just puts out an ad and it just takes off to the moon. I have seen it happen, that is true, and I've done it actually, but more often than not it doesn't. And I want you to be prepared to make adjustments along the way, and part of being prepared is budgeting for your ads, because that takes the drama out of it. You've got to remove drama from your ads. If you get in there and you get all hyped up because you see a bunch of people opted in or a bunch of people didn't opt in, so you're feeling down, I mean, that's got to go, because that makes it very tough to be effective with your ads. It's just like the stock market. I've talked about that many times. Stock market's up, stock market's down. It's just this, running with those emotions will not help your ads do any better. So, do Facebook ads and Instagram ads work the same? And I did talk about this last episode as well. Input-wise, so when you're actually inputting it, yeah, pretty much. It's pretty much the same. But in a broad sense, no. So the rule of thumb is that Facebook ads won't translate over into an Instagram ad and work, right? However, most of the time, an Instagram ad will translate back to a Facebook ad and work, okay? So be careful with that, right? The way that Instagram ads, and we'll talk about this in the next couple of episodes, but the way that Instagrams are perceived and the way that they're set up from a creative standpoint is really different than Facebook, and you have to have a grasp on that if you want to make sure that you're going to have a compelling ad and get people to take action on them. So, should you run both Facebook and Instagram ads at the same time to the same audience? And that's a good question. I mean, because some of your audience, if you're doing interest targeting, some of them won't be on Facebook, right? Some will be on Instagram and vice versa. So the answer is yes if you create 2 separate ad sets with separate budgets. In other words, you're not going to select all placements. You want to run one to Facebook, one to Instagram, right? And have 2 separate budgets for that. And yes, if you have 2 different ads specifically for each platform, which we already talked about, and you have enough of a budget to do so. So what's enough of a budget? Well, it really depends on, what you're trying to promote. Okay, my thought is, in a kind of a general sense, that if you can't put at least $20 a day to each, right, and you don't have to do that forever, but if you can't put $20 a day to each, then you probably don't want to do it. You're probably not going to get enough of results fast enough to make it work. Okay, all right. Should you expect the same key performance indicators between Facebook and Instagram? Well, first of all, I wanted to just tell you this right now. Stop comparing. Stop comparing your Instagram ads to your Facebook ones. Okay? Let Instagram stand on its own, right? Define what you're willing to do and what you're willing to accept with your Instagram ads. All right? Define those metrics for yourself. And I get it. If you're not used to running ads, you're like, I don't really know what to do. I don't know what my, I don't even know what a click-through rate is. And that's okay. That really is okay. Right? So keep it super simple. All right? If you're trying to get people to opt into your lead magnet, let's say, what is each opt-in worth to you? And you may not know initially. Okay? So put out a number, right? I'll put this number out. Say they're worth $5. So you measure that against whatever your results are. If you're getting them for below $5, you're like, great. If you're not, hey, I want to tweak something in my ad, right? I want to tweak the targeting. I want to tweak the copy. I want to tweak the image. I want to tweak something to make it, try to get it better. Okay, so set that as a goal, but let it stand on its own. So if you're getting, just as an example, let's just say you're getting opt-ins on Facebook, as at $7, right? But you're getting opt-ins on Instagram at $3. You don't want to necessarily cut off your Facebook ads, right? Because if you're willing to accept $5 results for your opt-ins, well, that's what you're getting if you combine those two. And if you turn off your Facebook ads, then you're going to miss out on those people that you otherwise would have gotten just because, you increased the cost per opt-in was $2 higher than your maximum. And I hope that makes sense, because that's what people tend not to do, is they don't see the average of the two. They look at them and say, well, this one's not working, this is working. Well, maybe the Facebook one at $7 is working perfectly. Maybe that's just what it is. Maybe that's the cost of it. Is it acceptable? Does it work? Right? So those are questions that you have to answer for your own business. Okay. So do the same rules apply to Instagram as they do Facebook? 100%. I mean, they're the same thing, right? Things like 20% text, so you can't have more than 20% text on your image, just like in Facebook, okay? You can't use before and after images, like if you're doing weight loss and stuff like that. That doesn't work. They don't allow for that. You can't imply specific results. You can't say, oh yeah, you're going to make, $5,000 in 15 minutes. I mean, you can't say those kind of things. Yes, I know there's people out there that do. There's ads running out there that have before and after, that have all kinds of things. But those are against the rules. And so, remember, I say this all the time, this is not a level playing field. Okay? If you're spending, $2 million a month on ads, your ad account's going to be looked at differently than if you're spending, $2,000 a month or $200 or whatever that number is. So don't compare those, okay? You outmarket your competitors. That's what we do. Okay, you're not trying to outspend them, you're trying to outmarket them, and that's what we teach here. All right. Let's see. Should you focus on copy as much on Instagram as you do Facebook? 100%. If there's one skill that I can impart to you that you need to improve upon, is how to write good copy. Okay, it's definitely not going to hurt. So learning how to write good copy, and a lot of y'all know that I do recommend the Adweek Copywriting Handbook by Joe Sugarman. It's just a super copy book. It's as good as a lot of courses that I've seen out there, and I've bought a bunch of courses. And for those that don't know, I came in second in the National Sales Letter Contest some years ago with copy, right? And I recommend this book highly. So I love copy. All right. Should you do video? Not necessarily, and definitely not right away. You don't have to do video. Okay? Use image ads. Image ads convert. They just do. There's a place for video, but you don't have to start with it right away. You'll do just fine. And so now I'm going to circle back to budget. So how much should you spend? Well, remember, your budget is your budget, regardless if you're using it for YouTube ads or Facebook or whatever it is. But I will tell you this, you need a marketing budget, right? This is not an expense budget, right? So if you're budgeting for your business, you have a separate marketing budget, because marketing is about bringing in business. Build a new website, that's not marketing, right? But budgeting for your ads, that is marketing. So that's all I've got on this episode, and I will see you on episode 95, and we're going to talk about what kind of creative works for Instagram ads. Talk to you then.